Besides Nicholas Noyes, John Hathorne and Jonathan Corwin would also contribute as two of the most significant judges in the decision-making of these trials. Hawthorne believed the devil could use witches to undermine the purpose of the church and do harm to people. Both issued warrants for the 3 women accused. Each woman was interrogated by having to go through a vast amount of questioning, as well as several tests to prove whether they were witches. The tests were harsh, such as throwing the accused into the water. If they floated, then they were witches. They would also have these young women undress in front of the judges so that they could look for a witch's teat, a small marking similar to a mole that was said to not bleed or hurt when it was poked with a needle. They would also do things like press several stones on top of a person as a way to press a confession out of them. Of the people convinced, Tituba said that she made her mark with blood in the Devil's Book. She mentioned that this book had 9 other signatures, including Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne. She claimed that they were trying to hurt her and the children. Tituba was later bought from the prison and was still a slave. No one knows where, though. Sarah Goodman was executed in July 1692. Sarah Osborne would eventually die in the Boston prison. These 3 women were only the first 3 to be accused of being witches. Goody Proctor was another woman accused of being a witch by the girls. John Proctor backed his wife up by saying that she was innocent, and that what the girls were saying about everyone was nonsense. Goody was spared because she was pregnant. The judges gave John a choice. If he was to admit that he saw the devil and the book, they would let him live. He was one of 20 people that would not confess and would be executed. Gills Corey was another individual accused. He was an 80-year-old farmer who contested the court's right to try him. According to English law at the time, a man who refused to plead was to be pressed with weights until he offered a plea. Gills would die from having weights put on his body because he refused to plead his innocence or guilt. Gills chose to die, and his famous last words were, "More weight." Both Gills Corey and John Proctor protested their innocence in hopes they would live to save others from false accusations.